family life. So that's also discrimination. But I would like to say that I am a woman, and by the grace of God, I'm able to juggle my work life as a High Court judge and my family life. So these are many more things we are going to hear today. So because of time, I would just like our resource persons to introduce themselves and tell us what they are going to speak on before we go into the topic for today. So I'll start with you.
My name is Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs. I'm talking about our nation and our women and children. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my Lord. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. My name is Chukwu Kaiku Azom. I'm a partner in the law firm of Aluko and Oyebode. I'm going to be looking at the topic from the standpoint of a commercial law firm in Nigeria. Thank you.
I am Corps Commander Christopher Kuje, Sector Commander Federal Road Safety Corps, River State Sector Command. My own topic is embracing diversity, intersectionality, and inclusivity in the Nigerian workplace. I am to give a practical expression of how this is applicable in my workplace. Thank you very much.
I am Mrs. Juliet Iboye Osademe. I am the Zonal Liaison Officer of the Federal Ministry of Justice, Port Harcourt, and I'm an Assistant Director. I am representing the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Justice, and I'll be talking on intersectionality and inclusivity in the Nigerian workplace.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Henry Barnabas Ehi. I'm a partner at Maxine and Prime Legal and a member of the National Welfare Committee. My intervention will be on how young lawyers can equip themselves to be included in the proper workspace. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Without wasting any more time, because the Honorable Minister would like to catch a flight today, so we'll start with the Honorable Minister, and please, each resource person will just take 10 minutes because of time. So let's put our hands together for the Honorable Minister as she gives us her talk.
I plead to stand up and go to that side, please. Thank you. Thank you. And let me equally pray to stand on the existing protocols because we don't have time. I actually came here mainly because they call them Young Lawyers. Young Lawyers Forum. That was the attraction that brought me here today. And most of the questions asked and most of the things being talked about, we have only one solution as far as I am concerned, one solution to the problem, and it's part of the team today: break the barrier. We need to break the barrier if we want to solve some of these problems. In my place, there's something they call Irapibi Babu Tutu. Igbos here, we understand where I'm coming from. You don't leave the grassroots and you're moving up to the urban route. Let me say it like that. If we want to solve our problems, that about it, talking about what is on top when the major thing on ground has not been solved. I came here to plead with the young lawyers to join me, partner with my ministry, Women Affairs, because if we solve the problems of women, 60-70% of issues in Nigeria are solved. Especially, it will solve the insecurity for you, it will solve the out-of-school children, it will solve the voicelessness of human beings. It's going to solve so many things, and it's going to include the women in politics. And you people know that when women are involved, things are different, quite unlike the men. I love the men, I'm not talking about that. What I miss, the women we are firmer, we take better decisions. The men are the head, we are the neck. Can a head exist without the neck? That is it. So we need to work towards, even the men, if you don't work towards empowering women and changing things and changing the narratives, you can't live longer than you're living now. And you need to live longer, because if your woman is empowered, if your woman is doing well, she will not have time to nag you. You people can't start nagging, you know that. So I am saying that this country, we really need to change the narratives. Everything that are being done, you can't talk about how you involve women in politics if you don't talk about how you empower that woman to have a voice. You can't talk about improving in governance without talking about how to make sure that out of school children is totally reduced. For years, it was 10,500 out of school children. As we speak, we have 20 million out of school children. Upon everything, both UN, every one of them are proving to us they are doing to help us in Nigeria. Nothing has been changed. Let us not sit down and wait for us to change the narratives. Let us help ourselves. We have enough resources. You don't need so much to achieve this. You need little. So I'm pleading with the young lawyers, please join me. We can't afford to watch what is going on in Nigeria. The rule of law is very important. Do we have it? I have applied for mobile courts and special courts so that some of issues concerning women and children can be addressed so easily, like the female genital mutilation, the out of school children, and the violence on both women and children. I cannot achieve this alone. I can only do what one individual can do. That's why I want the young lawyers to partner with me. I came here specifically to plead with you to partner with me. So many injustices are going on in this country, and if we don't address it for people to know that if you commit a crime, you will definitely pay for it. If you do things that will lead you to jail, you will definitely go to jail. I am pleading with you people, if we start this and you see, things will change. See the Maitama hospital problem, that the girl was taken there, and this is she was a very prominent lady, and she was taken there, they watched her die, they locked up their doors, and at the end of the day, the same Maitama hospital formed the panel that is investigating them. How do you go about that? I went there and they said they were in a panel. Which panel? Who formed the panel? The same Maitama hospital, the same people that committed the crime. When I got to the panel, I was so mad. How could you form a panel? You didn't bring my ministry in to defend the lady. She belonged to my family, the Ministry of Women Affairs. I wouldn't take that. So these are some of the things I'm talking about, and I'm suing them. I've gotten the names of those individuals that were at work. I can't sue the Maitama hospital, but by the time I sue the CMD and the people that were at work that day, you will see that Maitama hospital will come out, and all of us, myself and the young lawyers, will be able to capture them, and the right thing will be done. And when that right thing is done, because it could be you, it could be your relatives, it could be anybody. That girl came from a wealthy family. I've been able to have the opportunity of speaking to the father. She was from a wealthy home, but the money, the father's money or her own money, could not save her because of the system. Now we have a president who is eager to change things by saying that we should not suffocate the poor. We should allow the poor to breathe. And that, so how do we go about that? I'm begging you, please, join me. Let us fight the injustices. There's an 8-year-old girl that has been raped by the stepfather at Enugu that still trying to sweep the matter under the carpet. I am begging you people, let us use some of these people as example, and you see things will start going better, and some of the issues that are being raised will be solved. You can't make more money if we don't curb on corruption and wickedness in this country. And I don't know, maybe I've taken much of your time. I wish I could have said more, but I love you all and I thank you for inviting me.
Thank you to the Honorable Minister who has to leave as she has to catch a flight at this time. Thank you. So she has said women are not being empowered, which I agree. So women that are here, please, I need you all to stand up and know that what you are taking out from today is an empowerment. And I want to say, please, the men, the husband, let the women breathe. Allow the women to work. Support us. Support the women. Women, the truth of the matter is that more women are stronger than the men. Just that some men won't allow women to do what they are supposed to do. I'm very proud of my husband because he supports me. He's been supporting me from day one. Even as I got here, someone came and told me, where is he? Where is your husband? Because he's always following me. So he supports me, and that's why I have attained where I am today, because of his support. So please, husbands, allow the women to breathe and empower them, support them to do what they want to do. Thank you. So without wasting more time, we'll go to our next speaker, who is the Leonard Silk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me start by expressing my gratitude to the leadership of the Young Lawyers Forum of Port Harcourt branch and the organizers of this event for extending this invitation to me to be part of this event. It's a very interesting topic, embracing diversity. We've been allocated 10 minutes to share our thoughts. So what I intend to do is I'll try to explore some of the critical concepts that are contained in, and then refers to who is represented in a workforce, the components of a workforce, who are the people represented. And when we talk about diversity, the most common forms are gender diversity, age diversity, ethnic diversity, class diversity, and religious diversity. Now, think for a moment, if everyone in a workforce looks the same, thinks the same, is of the same age, acts the same, or better still, think of a football team where all the 11 players are strikers, or all the 11 players are goalkeepers or defenders. I'm sure as you're thinking of these examples, what is becoming very clear to you is that for any workforce, for any establishment, for any organization to prosper, it is important that people who make up the workforce come from a diverse set of backgrounds, experiences, and other forms of diversity. So that's what diversity speaks to. It speaks to, who the composition of the workforce. Now, when we talk about intersectionality, and I think that my lord, the chairperson of the panel, gave a very good introduction in that respect. So when we talk about intersectionality, it describes the ways in which systems of inequality based on gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and other forms of discrimination intersect or combine to create unique dynamics and effects. So this is a theory that presupposes that all forms of inequality are mutually reinforcing and must therefore be analyzed and addressed simultaneously to prevent one form from reinforcing another. And I'll, break it down. So, if you see a Muslim woman who is wearing the hijab and she's being discriminated against, the best way to analyze that situation is not to focus only on her gender or on her religion. Because what you may find is that the discrimination is actually a function of a combination of the different identities that she wears. So when you analyze or try to address it by focusing on a single factor, you miss the point. That is what intersectionality describes. So in the US, there was a study that shows that a woman or women earn 89 cents for every $1 that a man earns in the US. But that African American women earn about 64% of every dollar that a white male earns. So if you're analyzing the situation by just focusing on gender, you will miss the bigger issue, which is that when gender and race combine, they may have a more devastating effect on diversity. So that's what intersectionality speaks to. Then the other key concept in our definition is inclusion. Now, inclusion speaks to how the experience of the workforce in the work environment, how every member of the workforce is treated, whether they are given a sense of belonging, whether they are heard. Because it is one thing to have diversity, it is another thing for every voice that should be heard within a workforce to be heard. So when you have a combination of these three things, the benefits are enormous. And that's what I'm going to talk about briefly in the remaining time that I have. What are the benefits of diversity, embracing diversity and inclusion? Now, I feel competent, and please, this is not arrogance, this is not pride. I feel competent to speak on this issue because I work in a law firm. I'm a partner in a large commercial firm where diversity has been embraced, inclusion has been embraced, and these are responsible for the modest achievements that you can attribute to the firm. So today, and one of my partners is here, Tonye Krukobo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We have 20 partners in my firm. 10 of them are women. So the partner, in terms of gender, the split is 50%, right? Even the entire workforce, the balance is almost across the two genders, it's almost 50% as well. So when I hear people talk about, oftentimes on WhatsApp platforms that you have lawyers, you see an advertisement for a position, and what you see there is a male with no less than 5 years experience, right? And then you're wondering what this discrimination is really about. And I'm not here to flatter women, but I can tell you that in my work experience, one of the smartest sets of people I've ever worked with are women. So even in the leadership of our firm, because we have a management board that leads the firm. Okay, I don't want to thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard. So we've just heard from you that for any organization to prosper, people who make up the workforce are from diversified atmosphere. Leonard also gave benefits of embracing diversity and inclusion and he mentioned that it brings about increase in productivity and much more. Thank you for a well-spoken session. So now we'll go to our next speaker, and I'd like to call Mr. Christopher Kuje. Thank you.
All protocol duly observed. I don't think because of the limited time, I will try as much as possible to dwell into what I think is important. Some of the things I want to talk about, the last gentleman has talked about it, like definition of terms and the rest of them. So, because we are saying the same thing, embracing diversity, intersectionality, and inclusivity in the Nigerian workplace. Before I start, I think I want to give, let me give this quotation by one-time governor of Kaduna State, which I think is appropriate to what we are here today. He said, and I quote, "We are living today in times of great changes, with the old order crumbling fast, a new system of life and activities are emerging. Our task is to understand these changes and utilize them for human progress." This quote was given by Malam Balarbe Musa, the one-time governor of Kaduna State. And so, as I come here today, as I said before, I want to give a practical expression of how diversity is actually utilized in my workplace. As you can see, I think I happen to be the only uniform person here. So I want to thank the organizers for finding me worthy to be here. Okay, want me to? No, is it? So, as we all know, Nigeria is a very diverse country. Even from the state where I come from, Nasarawa State, we have over 40 ethnic groups, which if you want to understand the other language, you must learn it before you understand it. Not that the other person speaks and you hear. No, if you want to understand his language, you must learn it. So nature by itself has also embraced diversity, and that is why in Nigeria we have so many diversity, to the extent that everywhere you go, diversity is highly expressed. And so as human beings, our role is to see how we'll be able to cue into this diversity. Now, let us see, in the case of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Nigeria, we are a paramilitary organization. Our tactics, our training, our discipline, and most of the things that we do is in line with the military way of doing things. But then there is something we have to understand, or we have come to understand in our working place, that practical force, or the use of a kind of old style of doing things, using force and other things, doesn't bring out the best out of people. But if you're a good leader, what you need to do is to embark on what we call emotional intelligence. If you do that, then you will be able to bring the best out of your people or your staff. Now, let me just go ahead how we are achieving this in the Federal Road Safety Corps. First one is the issue of communication. Communication is key if you really want to achieve, you want to embrace diversity in your workplace. How do we achieve this in the Federal Road Safety Corps? We do that through regular meetings to help staff to express their opinions on issues. We do that, for instance, every week we must hold meetings with staff to ensure that they express their opinion on issues that are very, very topical, and for us to find answers to them. We also embark on what we call weekly, on what we call in-house training and capacity building of staff, so as to also make them better citizens. We also, in our recruitment and even promotion and postings, we take into cognition the issue of gender, the issue of capacity, the issue of ability, and so on and so forth. For instance, we look at it as a discrimination and also a kind of marginalization for you to take a junior staff, for instance, who come from South region, and you carry him to the far north, where his salary cannot even afford accommodation. In that case, we look into all those things and we post you to your own geopolitical zone so that you will be able to manage your income very well. And also, when it comes to recruitment and promotion, the issue of gender is also considered. But I don't know, maybe in our own, I will say there are some situations where we can call it positive discrimination. In the sense, for instance, you cannot allow a woman to go and do night duty, because doing that to us is going to create problem. You are trying to separate the woman from the husband. So there are some duties that we cannot ask women to go into. But if it comes to appointment, posting, and all holding of positions and the rest of them, that thing has nothing to do with gender. Even if you see today, I come here, we have 2 men and we have 2 women. That's to show you how gender friendly I am as a leader. And again, we have so many other schemes, things that we do. We embark on welfare activities or scheme like housing scheme to make sure that we provide houses for staff, especially the junior ones, so that they can pay slowly, and at the end of the day, they will be able to acquire houses for themselves. We also have scheme for those who are retiring, so that you start contributing something, so that at the end of the day, when you are going, you have at least some amount of money in saving ready for you. We also have cooperative scheme. Instead of going to bank where you borrow a lot of money, you borrow money and you pay a lot of interest, you borrow at your own cooperative right there in your office, which at the end of the day you pay 5% or 10%, and you are given a very long period to pay at your own convenience. We organize things like Doba. In a Doba, where both the senior and the junior mix up, and at the end of the day, during that Doba, there is no issue of immunity. The head will remove what we call immunity. So you mingle together, you say whatever you want to say, you eat together, you drink together, you mix up, and you do things together to make sure you fraternize and then bring the best out of everything. We also embark on issues like award and commendations to our staff so that everything will work out fine. And then the rules that guide the organization is the same for everybody. It doesn't want to know whether you are a man, you are a woman, you are this or that. No, it's the same rules that we use for everybody, and it is clearly written so that you will not come tomorrow and say, I don't know. And I think the most important thing is mentorship, and I think that is the one I believe is very, very important to me as a person. I believe the best way to relate, to bring your subordinate to do what is right, or to integrate everybody in your workplace, is for you to be a mentor. Is for you to be that Bible that everybody will read and then become, at the end of the day. Have you? All right. You should be that Bible or the Quran or whatever Bible, document that you think that the people will read and believe you. You know, seeing is believing. People do, what do we say? People don't do what you expect, but they do what you inspect. So it is very, very important. Maybe to round up, let me say, I think there are 2 important dates I want to encourage as young lawyers. There are 2 important dates in man's life or a woman's life. So date number 1 is your birthday, the day you were born. The second day is the day you discover why you were born. Hello? There are 2 what? two days, important days in your life. Day number 1 is the day you were born, and day number 2 is the day why you discover why you were born. For instance, now, have you asked yourself the question, why am I a lawyer? The problem in Nigeria is that a lot of us don't even know why we were born. And that is why you see somebody misbehaving, doing a lot of things that are not normal, and it doesn't bother him. Why? Because he thought maybe he comes into this world is to grab and grab and grab and grab, and then cheat, do all kind of evil against others, and then get away. Finally, I want you to take the advice of Abraham Lincoln, who said, he gave this advice to his children, and he said, go and read and prepare yourself, because so that when opportunity comes, it will not miss you. As young lawyers who are looking forward to be better people tomorrow, you need to prepare yourself so that when the opportunity comes, it will not pass you by. You don't just sit by and then thinking, okay, just sitting by doing nothing, you are not doing something extraordinary, and then at the end of the day, just wishing that, oh, this thing should happen to you. It doesn't work out that way. You have to work it out, you have to sweat it out. A saint is somebody is an extraordinary person who do extraordinary things in order to get to heaven. So for you to get there, you have to be an ordinary person who does extraordinary things in order to get there. And for me, somebody like me, see me here, I'm a village boy. You hear me? Very, very local village boy. If before somebody had told me that I will be here as sector commander today, I would say, Holy Ghost. But I have to do my best. I have to keep the track, do the best, in tears, in pain, in sorrow. My mother advised me one thing, and I want to give you this advice too, which is the final one. My mother told me that any sorrow, any tear, any pain that I go through, let me use it as a ladder that will take me to the greater height. I listened to her, and that is why I am what I am today. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher Kuje. Thank you. What we've gotten from you today is how you promote diversity in your workplace, and by doing so, there is effective communication, intense training, support staff through supporting them with loans, award, and commendations. And we also learned from you and your advice. And what I can say is, from his advice, is all about sacrifice. So as young lawyers, as striving lawyers, we should endeavor to also sacrifice. We should have time. You know, it's not about what we always want. We should make sure we put in effort and sacrifice our time. I remember when I was, I had a bit of, experience in practice sometime in 2012 for about less than a year. So I say maybe about 9 months. I can remember my principal at that time. I will not call names, because if I call this person's name, everybody will say, why was I working with that kind of person? But well, he has kind of shaped me today. So I remember at that time, he will send me to the Court of Appeal. He will give me files as big as a table. At that time I was driving. I was the only lawyer driving then, so he will use me. He will give me files when I was, well, I will complain in my mind, but I will still do the work. I will take the files to Court of Appeal as early as, in fact, before 8 o'clock, I'm in Court of Appeal waiting for him. And I remember one day, I drove my car, rushing to the Court of Appeal, and a trailer was by my side. I was so scared. I was so scared. I know when trailers are driving by your side, when you have a small Peugeot car, it's like terror. And that day, the trailer scratched my vehicle. I was crying that day. And I went back to the office and I showed my principal. I said, see what happened to my, oh, he said, sorry, you are learning, it's the experience. In fact, that day was something else. But I took it. I said, God, whatever I take today, you will bless me tomorrow. So I remember that sacrifice. I remember what I did, the sacrifice. And again, when I was a legal assistant with Justice Deprie, I remember Justice Deprie, if you appear before Justice Deprie, 2017, at that time, he will sit by 9 o'clock till 5 p.m. He will not rise. And as a legal assistant, I will sit with him. We were 2 legal assistants with Justice Deprie. The other one will go, but I was there. I will stay till he will rise. There's nothing I was not doing at that time. I was there and I was learning. I was taking everything, like I said, God, this is my sacrifice. I know that one day you will bless me. And today God has blessed me. So I want to encourage everybody to also sacrifice. Because at the end, God blesses your efforts. The Bible says God blesses the works of your hands. So there's no way, if you don't work, there's nothing that God will bless. So it's that work of your hand that God will bless. So I pray that as we leave here today, we will learn the importance of sacrifice. So without saying much more, I'll call on our next speaker, Mrs. Juliet, to take us on her talk. Please, let's give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here on behalf of Beatrice Jedieba, OON MNI, Solicitor General of the and Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Justice. She would have been here, but because of the exigencies of work, she couldn't make it. And so I'm here to speak to you on intersectionality intersectionality and inclusivity in the Nigerian workplace. You can't? Oh, I wasn't. Okay. All right. Nigeria, I will be hinging more on what the Leonard Silk has spoken on, and I will say Nigeria is a country blessed with diverse indigenous cultures and tribes, as well as religion. However, it will appear that we have had challenges harnessing our unique blend of cultural diversity in stimulating socio-economic growth and development. Equality and non-discrimination in the workplace and are major pillars of the fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as labor laws in the country. Section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria prohibits the discrimination of Nigerians based on particular community, ethnic group, place of origin, sex, religion, or political opinion. For years, the Nigerian workplace has served as a battleground for many social justice issues, such as gender pay gap, discrimination based on sex, tribe, and even age. When people talk about taking a stand against discrimination and they achieve equality, it means exactly that in the context of the workplace. It is important for us as legal practitioners to continue to collaborate with the government to ensure inclusion, social justice, stability, and peace. At the federal level, the government has taken a number of legal, regulatory, and institutional initiatives to ensure equality and non-discrimination in the workplace. These initiatives ensure equal access to all Nigerian citizens with respect to recruitment, appointment, and promotion, regardless of their tribe and religion. Some of these initiatives include the federal character principle, which is entrenched in our Constitution and must be taken into consideration during recruitment and appointments. Federal government has adopted principles of performance-based promotion and reward system in the workplace through the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan, FCIP. Classes, everything, and the specific inequality. But while the career of a woman from southern Nigeria might improve with the development of gender equality targets and mentorship schemes, an older Muslim northern woman may continue to face Islamophobia, racism, and ageism in the workplace. I believe that these are major issues which must be addressed through reforms and enforcement of labor rights in order to ensure growth, development, and peace for all. I would say, as individuals, we should work hard and strive for the best, because there's a saying which goes, time and chance happen at once. But we all must strive as young lawyers the best we can be, and when that time comes, we will be able to key into it to make greater heights. Once again, I thank you all for inviting me to this event and wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Juliet, for explaining the concept of diversity inclusion, you focused on discrimination as well. And what I would like to say about discrimination, because in fact, I would say I'm a victim of being discriminated. So I will say how it is, give an example. So I'm originally from Edo State, born Edo State, and I'm married to a Rivers man. So doesn't that make me a Rivers woman? Doesn't that make me a Rivers woman? Okay. Well, I will say this. So I went somewhere. I was invited for a function. I wasn't a judge at that time. So as I got there, there are side talks. You hear a lot of people, gossiping and talking. And one woman, she didn't know I heard her. They said, she don't come now, because they don't marry her from our state. Don't make her Rivers. She no be Rivers before. So these are the things we are talking about. The discrimination. You exclude a woman because she's not originally from the state. She's married from the state, but you say no, she's not a Rivers woman. She just because they put that thing because she's married from Rivers. But I tell you, I'm Rivers. I am full-blown Rivers. Kana local government, Goni, Lubara town. That is where I'm from, and that's what I tell even my children. I tell them when they ask you, they will say, "Mommy, I'm Rivers, but I'm also from." They'll say they are from London. I don't know why children feel they are from somewhere else. Anyway, so I hope when we live here, we will get all this together and know the importance of being diversified, especially in the Nigerian workplace, because one day we all aspire to be our own bosses, so we should know the importance of it. So at this point, I would like to call on Mr. Henry Barnabas to give us his talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please, before I just start my little address, I want us to please, locally today we have the chairman of the Security and Agencies relationship here with us, and today is the 20th day of October, which is one of the days where young Nigerians stand up against brutality, against police brutality in Nigeria. So please, let's give ourselves a round of applause for those who have stood against police brutality in Nigeria. Please, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, I had to do that because I am a young lawyer like yourself, and for every argument, I will definitely stand at the side of the young lawyers. Now, our topic is very, very crucial, and I know most of the speakers have dwelt on how everybody can be included in a workspace, but I would want to settle from the angle where you as a young lawyer, you as an employee, what can you do to present yourself as an individual that can be included in a workspace? Now, the only reason why any employer would want to include you in a workspace is because you have something relevant to deliver. Now, we're talking about workspace. What does workspace mean? It means a place of employment. What does a place of employment means? It means a place where you work and get paid. Now, for you to work and get paid, it means that you have to apply for that particular work or that particular job. And now, most of the times, the way you present yourself as a young lawyer is the way most employers would definitely look at you. Now, I've had opportunity to sit on boards that review different CVs and as well as job opportunities. And from the very first go, there are some CVs that you actually cannot even look at all. First of all, you see a CV of over 10 pages, and then you see, I had the privilege of looking at a particular CV, and one of the skills that the person wrote, a lawyer, was that I think he said he prays very well. And I was wondering if the application he's doing was for a religious organization or a law firm. So you as a lawyer, you must know how to present yourself very well before anybody can actually include you in their workspace. Now, I want you to understand that there's a difference between a CV, curriculum vitae, and a resume. Now, most of the time, when you apply for a job in anywhere, you have to apply with your resume. Your CV is basically your academic, history, and you have to give details of your academic history. So, for example, you attended the University of London, you studied this and this, you did the research on this and this, and then you are allowed to put it, because most of the time you use your CV for, application for masters or PhD. But your resume is a concise document where you apply for job. Most of the time, your resume is not supposed to be more than 2 pages, just 2 pages, and your key component basically is your skills that you have developed over the years and your work experience. Now, mind you, work experience does not equate the number of years at the bar. Your work experience details the kind of transaction, the kind of job description that you have done over time. So, for example, let me just take a practical example of the young man who has, maybe from what he has said, he's very conversant with, police cases and all that. In your particular resume, you can package it in such a way that anybody that wants to employ you would first of all look at, okay, this person says he has a very good experience in interacting with security agencies and application of bills and all that, and you want to hear from this particular person. So your resume is a concise document. So most of the time I just want to employ that please avoid the mistakes of putting a detail of your academic records in your resume. That should be left for when you're applying for masters and PhD. In the circle that we are, which is the legal environment, what we want to know is the kind of skills that you can offer and the work experience that you have gotten over the years. Now, for young lawyers, it's a bit difficult when you see various kind of job descriptions and you hear something like we want people with social experience in within 3 to 5 years, and then you go and Google that particular skills or that particular job description, and you are seeing for you to actually achieve that kind of course, you're looking about $500,000 naira, and you're wondering, how do I progress from this stage to other stage? Then I'll tell you practically for myself, is based on sacrifice. At the end of the day, no organization, trust me, no matter how you work very well in any space, the best that most organizations can give you are trainings for trips, conferences and all. When it comes to the nitty-gritty of skills that you have to get as a person that is relevant for your legal practice, you have to develop it yourself. And it could come from, if you are very lucky, probably you have parents who are very wealthy, definitely come from the parents. But as a young lawyers who do not even have any form of foundation in that regards, it must come from your personal spending, and you must take your time. There are actually free courses online. If you Google Coursera and the rest, islands and all that, there are actually free courses that you can apply and use for your job hunting, while there are some that you actually would have to pay. Now, it's very important too that as lawyers and as employees too, we should also, please, as much as possible, include better work policies. I find it very funny that right now in this year and time, we have law firms that employ lawyers without a contract of employment. It's very absurd. And most of the time, it boils down to the way you have presented yourself as a lawyer. If you know what you're doing, no matter how many years at the bar are you should be able to present yourself before an employer and insist on some basic. Now, the good thing is that we have a legal practitioner order, which is an order that will take effect from January. I don't think any law firm or any senior lawyer should complain about the inability to make funds, because the order, I don't know, because I bought the order, I don't know if they can just project it. The order is very explicit as regards the remunerations that lawyers should get for every job they are doing. So if you are a principal, for example, and you have juniors in your chambers, I don't think an excuse is saying we don't have money, yet we are seeing work and business and transaction going on. The question you have to ask is that this particular client that came here, how much did we charge the person? And it has to start from us. It's very wide. For example, the consultation a young lawyer is entitled to is 20,000 naira for a young lawyer. Your incorporation for CAC business name is 50,000 naira. Let's even assume as a young lawyer, for example, you're not even in any form of employment. By virtue of that order, if each and every one of us have to insist on the application of that order, which of course is the law, I don't think anybody will be stranded as regards the finances. My timekeeper is here, so I think I have to just pause and yield the mic. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for giving us some tips to present ourselves in the workspace. Now, without wasting much time, I would like to call on Mrs. Joy Odua. She actually wasn't here when it started. She had to step out. So I would like to call her Mrs. Joy Odua, the immediate past General Secretary of the NBA, first after 38 years. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Good afternoon, moderator. I want to first of all use this opportunity to apologize for coming late and to thank the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum of MBA Port Harcourt branch and the chairman of the organizing committee and all his members for inviting me for this program. I want to say it's well done, and the sky is the limit for you guys. Thank you. I will first of all start by saying it is a honor to speak before this distinguished audience at the Nigerian Bar Association Young Lawyers Forum Port Harcourt Branch 2023 Summit, themed Breaking Barriers. Speaking to young lawyers actually is my favorite thing to do because it is my voice into the future. I am excited to have I am excited that you have chosen such a progressive and forward-looking theme for your annual summit. Breaking barriers is a metaphorical expression that refers to overcoming obstacles, challenging traditional norms, or pushing through limits and constraints to achieve something previously considered unattainable. This concept can be applied in various contexts, including social, cultural, personal, technological, economic, environmental, and most importantly, mental barriers. I always say that the only real barrier is the one you create in your mind and the one your mind permits. Breaking barrier requires determination, innovation, effort, and collaboration. It is a way to challenge the status quo and create a more inclusive, equitable, and progressive world. This leads me to my topic today, which is embracing diversity, intersectionality, and inclusiveness in the Nigerian legal workplace. I will just define some of the words because it's important, my own way. Diversity means having a variety of individual and points of view represented within a particular group, organization, community, or society. Diversity can be demographic, that is race, ethnicity, gender, age, sexual orientation, religion, nationality, physical abilities, experiential, that is thoughts, skills, perspective, education. We come to culture, values, language, then socioeconomic and geographic. Intersectionality could be understood as the interplay of diversity. It is a concept coined by Camblin Crenshaw, a legal scholar and civil rights advocate in the late 1980s. Intersectionality recognizes that an individual's identity is not defined by a single characteristics, a sample being a woman or belonging to a particular racial group, but is shaped by the combination of multiple social identities. Individuals may experience discrimination and privilege differential based on their intersecting identities. For instance, although Mrs. A and Mrs. B may experience discrimination as women, intersectionality recognizes that they may also face unique forms of bias based on other aspects of their identity. For example, what our moderator said, she said she's from a particular area, married to a particular area. She's a woman, but another woman might still be married to the same place she's from. So the kind of discrimination they will experience as women will be different. That is what we actually mean by intersectionality. Like she said, she's not from Rivers State. You are from Rivers State. Welcome. For example, may face additional discrimination because she is a young lawyer, while Miss C, who is also a young female lawyer, may meet further bias due to her geographical origin. Therefore, it is crucial to acknowledge that each person's experiences are unique and that their multiple identities should be considered when addressing issues of bias and privilege. Then we come to what we call inclusivity. It's the positive acceptance of diversity and intersectionality. It is the practice of creating an environment or society that values and respects the diversity of all individuals. It is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background, identity or characteristics, is given equal opportunity and is fully integrated into various aspects of a group, organization, community, or society. Inclusivity values individual diverse perspectives and backgrounds, recognizing that multiple viewpoints can lead to better problem solving, creativity, and innovation. Now let's look at the legal workplace. The legal workplace refers to the environment where legal professionals conduct their work and provide legal services. This workplace can encompass various settings, including law firms, legal department within corporation, the government legal offices, non-profit organization, courts, legal, academia, and the bar association like the NBA. The Young Lawyers Forum is also a legal workplace. Embracing diversity, intersectionality, and inclusivity within the Nigerian legal workplace signifies the wholehearted acceptance of individuals in all their diversities, while firmly rejecting any form of discrimination. Then let's look at diversity without inclusivity, what it amounts to. However, despite the potential of synergy and innovation through diversity, traces of discrimination can be found in the Nigerian legal workplace. Instances of gender-based bias, age-related hurdles, and tribal prejudices can undermine the principles of justice and equity. We'll get to discrimination in the workplace, in the legal workplace. Discrimination based on gender. We have this discrimination based on gender. The legal profession history in Nigeria has been marked by stark gender disparities. For many years, it was primarily a male-dominated field. Only in recent years have women started entering the profession in more significant numbers, and they have not just entered but excelled. However, it is essential to acknowledge that the journey to gender equality within the legal workspace has been fraught with challenges. female legal professionals face substantial obstacles in the early years of their entry into the legal profession. These barriers, you can see, yet many pioneering women, for example, Amina, retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Amina Oge, she rose from being unable to find her foot in the early years of her career as a practitioner. She overcame years of societal bias against women to become a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Data paints a clear picture of the gender disparity in the legal profession. While women are well represented at the junior level, women are well represented, their presence diminishes significantly in senior position. To illustrate, recent statistics reveal that only about 10% of senior advocates of Nigeria are women, while the remaining, I don't think it's even up to 10, while the remaining is 90% is men. These figures underscore that there is still a considerable journey ahead to attain complete equality. Only once has a woman held the position of the president of the Nigerian Bar Association in the NBA history. And even her being that, it was after they made the president then the Attorney General of the Federation. When I decided to run also for the office of the General Secretary of the NBA, I encountered numerous discouraging comments and biases. Some questions like, as a woman, how will she manage the role responsibly, or the responsibility associated office of the General Secretary? I can see the man with the black hat. Okay, you will need to give me some 2 minutes, or else we will seize your heart. Discrimination based on age. I will talk about this because some legal practitioners have encountered discrimination based on their age and the number of years they have spent at the bar. I'm talking precisely about us young lawyers seated. Young lawyers are often perceived as inexperienced and labeled wet behind the ears. While it is true that specific role and responsibilities may require years of experience and exposure, it is crucial to avoid discrimination based on age. This discrimination extends to their remuneration as well. Law firms sometimes pay young lawyers who have dedicated years to their legal education a miserly sum, just above what we call the minimum wage. Some even pay below the minimum wage. Moreover, there are prevalent negative stereotypes about young lawyers, particularly those belonging to the Generation Z and the millennials. These stereotypes are gradually becoming derogatory, and they falsely assume that younger lawyers cannot handle substantial responsibility within the legal profession. Because I have no time, I will not be able to continue, but I will say something. At the personal level, what do the young lawyers and women, what do we need to do? Continuous self-improvement, active participation. Don't shy away from actively participating in the profession and social organization. Participation in the NBA politics. If interested, engage as a young lawyer, as a woman. Engage in NBA politics and contribute your perspective and expertise. Commitment to responsibilities within the organization, no matter how small. Do your best. And I will give, how can we embrace diversity in the Nigerian legal workplace? One, promote equality. I'm through. Thank you. Hope I can get 1 more minute. Thank you so much. I'm just giving the recommendations now. We need to promote equal employment opportunities. All legal organizations, including law firms, ministries, MBA and courts, should make a concerted effort to ensure that employment opportunities are based on merit alone, without bias. This includes equal access to promotion and benefits, fostering an environment where everyone has the opportunity to excel. Inclusive policies. We need will make sure that discrimination in workplace is done away with. Another one is mentorship and support. We as senior lawyers, we need to establish mentorship program that connect young lawyers, particularly women with seasoned legal professionals, like the Agile Legal Professional Mentorship Scheme, which I recently established. This mentorship can provide guidance, support, and skill to advance their legal careers. Leadership opportunity. Encourage and support women, please, and young lawyers to take up leadership roles within the profession. This may include participation in professional organizations like the Nigerian Bar Association and involvement in decision-making bodies at various levels. With this, I want to say that it is us and the women to raise their head up and excel in the profession. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Joy Odua. Thank you so much for giving us an explanation of the topic. So the truth is we cannot shy away from bias, we can't shy away from discrimination. It is in the system, it is there to stay. But what we should get out from today's session is how to embrace, how to embrace it so that we can all work in a productive environment. So that's what I hope we get out of the session today, how to embrace diversity, how to embrace inclusivity and also intersectionality. So at this point, we will go straight to questions and answers. And I don't know if there's anyone that has a question, you can raise your.
Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Callistus C. Onyendoga from MBO Ukwa branch in Abia State. I'm the immediate past YLF General Secretary EBF. I'm very happy to be here in your midst, but mine is by way of comment with your kind permission, my lord. And this is for particularly the young lawyers, because most times, I'm still a young lawyer definitely, but most times when I meet those newly called to the bar, I always tell them that one, for litigation, explore other areas of legal practice. I didn't start planning for my wedding until I started doing corporate practice. I've been doing litigation all this while, but I never thought of marriage until I started going into corporate practice and all that. Of course, I had mentors who had to see me too. And the e-filing within this jurisdiction has actually benefited me immensely. I want to say this, that aside from CAC, there are other areas you can actually take cognizance of. Like for me, I am into animal husbandry, where I have a manager who gets exotic breeds for interested homes. And trust me, during the COVID era, it was one of the lifesaver for me. One of the lifesaver for me. And I keep telling young lawyers, yes, I love litigation and all that, but most times the kind of discouragement we get is enough to make you run away and get frustrated. Okay, I'm sorry to go further, but I was in court on Monday up to Wednesday, and I can tell you that once I attend to this matter, my appearance fee up to this moment have not come. And I tell some young lawyers that if it's just only litigation and the appearance fee, I won't go to that court in the first place, because I have to fuel my car, and the appearance fee of 20,000 naira these days is not tenable. It's not a realistic something as long as we are concerned. And at this juncture, I want to say to young lawyers, please explore other areas of practice. Explore other areas of practice to avoid frustration.
Right, thank you.
You can go into animal husbandry like me.
Thank you.
You can also go into CAC.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Yeah. All right, so the next, so I've just one person on this row. Okay, there are two. Okay.
My lord.
1 minute, please, 1 minute.
Thank you very much, my lord. My name is Osage Owaikena. I'm past chairman, Young Lawyers Forum, Benin branch, and I'm a friend to the young lawyers. My Lord, with your permission, just a 1-minute comment. I've attended various conferences as a lawyer since my 13 years of post-call, and I've discovered that the issue of young lawyers is like that of Alice in the Wonderland, where you have to turn around twice to remain in the same space. I believe that the root to the problems of young lawyers should be for seniors to carry them along. If you cannot break barriers when there are issues with your finances, a young lawyer who is called to the bar today is facing a difficult terrain financially. He will face difficulty. So seniors should generally, there is no statute that will enforce, no statute that can be made by the National Assembly to stop this. But there should be a general orientation among seniors that the young lawyers are their friend, and they should also support their welfare. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that comment. Okay, yes, can we have the man over there? Please, that's the last person because of time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me stand on the existing protocol. Question actually is kind of, my name is Nayerugo Ogara. Sorry about that, please. And my question is, I have this feeling that young lawyers are passing through pains. For instance, you have someone who wants to do draft a deed of conveyance for a land sale. You find out that somebody will be telling you, I will pay you 20,000. Whereas you said the fee is maybe 200. He will be bold enough to tell you that if you can't do it for 20,000, I have someone that can do it. And before you do it, someone is already doing it for 20,000. Whereas the property could be 20 million. So this is really a very big problem, and I don't know, I wish the bar should look into this and see how they can regularize all this. Thank you.
All right, so I think that's a comment, not a question. So just one more, please, and the man. Okay, I can see a lady raising her hand, though, and we've not. No, are you a lady? All right.
Permit him to stand on existing protocol. Thank you very much, panelists. My name is Abimun Promise, and one issue that I face as a young lawyer and as a woman is the fact that some clients will tell you, I want to deal with a male lawyer and not a female lawyer. I had a situation whereby the client had to interview me. After interviewing me, he said, okay, he can handle the issue that I have. So how do I face such people and convince them that, yes, I can do the job for them as a young lady and as a lawyer? Thank you.
Okay, so all right, I can see one of the executives has a question. So
thank you, my lord. I would also want to stand on existing protocols. I just want to share an experience as a woman, a lawyer, working with the Ministry of Justice, also as a mother. When I had my child, we are talking about diversity, inclusion, and all of that. I had my second daughter, and I got employed with the Ministry of Justice. I was still breastfeeding at the time, and I would have to go to work. There was no place that was conducive for me. There was no creche, no privacy, nothing. We are expected to perform at the same level as men. Some of the issues that they have with women lawyers is that, oh, we're always giving an excuse for school run, for this and for that. But even in the workplace, there's no provision to allow me pump, express milk, and at least still perform my duties. I found myself several times in the parking lot pumping, driving home, dropping the milk, and coming back to work, and still I was still expected to perform at the level as the same as men. So my question or contribution is, how do you expect women, especially mothers who want to thrive in practice, whichever, depending on whatever area they want to specialize in, when the structures and facilities and support is not there to enable them perform at the same level as their male colleagues? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I hand over to Mrs. Joyce Odua to say one or two things.
Thank you so much, my Lord. I want to answer the question of, what my young lady with the glasses said. She said there's this discrimination because she's a woman, that a client came and said he will not give her the job because she's a lady. Yes, that is bound to happen most of the time. That's the discrimination we're talking about. But the truth is that you have to tell him that you are sure of yourself and that you can do the job very well. It's now for you to convince him, and you can go further because you need him as a client, especially if he's a good one. What you need to tell him, you can tell him, sir, what you need to do, why not me do this job for you? And if it's not good, do not pay. But if it's okay, you will pay. And he will give you a trial, because you can't force him to give you the job. But you can tell him that you can do it without a fee first. That if it's not okay with him, he shouldn't pay. But if it's okay, he pay. And once you do that, and he gives you that job, you have to put in your best to make sure that it can beat whatever any man out there, your mate, or maybe your senior, can do. And once you do that, and you're focused, and you're determined, and you know what to do, and you put it down, and it's well, you will find out that that man will now be the one to be referring clients to you. So just take note of that. Be confident in yourself. Me, Joyce, as you see me so, I'm very confident in myself. Whatever any man can do, I believe that I can do, and do what? Even better.
Thank you very much. I think the question that was asked by our colleague further down there represents the reality of many young female lawyers in Nigeria. Unfortunately, our profession is one that recognizes age and experience. So especially for a young female lawyer, right, these challenges are bound to happen. What we need to do is the kind of thing that we're doing today. We need to continue to sensitize people. We need to continue to do advocacy, to explain to everyone that your identity does not have anything to do with your ability, right? I said this when I was making my presentation. Some of the smartest lawyers I've ever come across are mostly female. Mostly. So don't allow that kind of experience discourage you. What you can do on your part is to continue to improve on yourself, to continue to acquire skills that give you the competitive edge. You have to consider specialization, because today, if someone is looking for a tax expert and they say that Mrs. X is a tax expert and this client is in trouble, I'm not sure that the client will be thinking, oh, this person is a woman. And that's why I say that when you're starting out as a young lawyer, it's a lot more difficult. But as you get older in the profession and you climb the seniority ladder and you continue to acquire experience, it gets better. But my advice to you is, that odd person who decides to look at you from the lens or the lenses of your gender should not discourage you. Keep improving yourself. Keep acquiring skills that are important for success in the profession. And once you have made your mark, then even the person who today said, I'm not going to employ you as a lawyer, will begin to change their mindset. And then let me quickly address the question that our colleague in the ministry raised. So unfortunately, that is again the reality. Even in most, you're talking about the Ministry of Justice, which is a public establishment. Even in many private firms, organizations, there are no facilities that are put in place to make the work that women, female lawyers do easier. And I am happy that at the level of the Nigerian Bar Association in recent years, the committees to plan annual general conferences have begun to make provisions, for crèches, to, attend to some of the peculiarities that our female colleagues have. So again, I think that this is an advocacy point. We have to continue to advocate, to sensitize, to enlighten all employers on the need and importance to make these facilities available to aid the work that our female colleagues do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to add to that concerning yours. You are a lawyer, you are a woman, the men are there. You must make sure that you equal yourself like the men when it comes to your job. You shouldn't say this is difficult because you are a woman, it should be lesser. No. You should walk in a way that when the men even see you, this woman, it's very good. So that is what I want to say concerning that. When it comes to that of babies, for example, I just opened my new office. And what we did, we have a crèche. We have a crèche in my office. And I was in Kaduna the other day. I went to a colleague's office, beautiful office. I checked. I didn't see a crèche there. I told him, you need to put a crèche. And this is something we need to tell everyone. Every employer, have a crèche for your staff to be able to keep the babies. Not even just the female staff. At times, the male staff too. When they have this baby, please bring the baby. Those in the crèche will take care of them. So that is just it. Everybody here, please try and make sure your office have a crèche for the women. We have to take care of the women. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, if you have this car which is blocking someone, a Hyundai Reverse with plate number BGM103BB, please, you need to take your car out. Thank you. So just the last comment.
My intervention will be on the last question, and I think I just want to try and bring a practical solution. I don't think it might really apply to you, but at the end of the day, I think everybody or every woman will be able to model the kind of procedure they want to take. Now, the truth of the matter is that yes, in an ideal situation, even the NBA, we need to have a work policy for women, especially. I remember I was in the last welfare committee and we had a sexual harassment policy. I don't know if you know about that policy. A sexual harassment policy. Yes, there's a sexual harassment policy, and I think the NBA also can do much to intervene in things like women equality and all that. Now, for women, let's assume that for now we don't really have the facilities in question, but the question now will be, despite this odd, how will I prevail in circumstances like this and be challenging with the men? The truth is that for now, for the time being, you should be able to model some skills. For example, I don't think every woman who is in a workspace that has, the legal procedure is very challenging, and then you are doing school runs. There are people who are actually paid to do school runs. I think you can lessen some of these burdens by applying some of these models, or probably after school, because the stress of you, even your mental health, is not even conducive enough for you to drive down to your school, drive down to the workspace and all that. Please, let me just stop here for now, go of time.
Good evening. Is it afternoon or evening now? Before we round off, I think if I don't make this comment, it will be unfair. I want to advise that as we are coming to the end, I pray we go back well. But before then, I want to advise that you should drive with care and know that yes. you should know that only the living practice law. The dead don't practice anything called law. It's only the living. So avoid arrogance, avoid aggression, and avoid anything that will be provocative. Anger, yeah. Avoid anger, avoid aggression, and avoid arrogance. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, I'd like to thank all our resource persons for explaining this topic to the barest minimum. Thank you so much. But what I would like to say, just to end this session, is something I always tell everybody. Embrace humility. Take it wherever you are going, because you don't know who you are going to meet tomorrow. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you, our distinguished panelists. Before the presentation of the award, let me quickly recognize the presence of the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Development in Rivers State, ably represented by Evangelist D. Samuel Mebaka, the Director of Education and Counseling. Please, if you're here, wave. Thank you, sir. So we'll move on to the presentation of the awards, and this will be done by the former Assistant Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association National, by Chief Oke Ohaba, aka Oke is okay.
Thank you very much. My Lord, the chairman of the plenary session, chairman of Young Lawyers Forum Port Harcourt branch, we have come to the end of this plenary session. It is time the Young Lawyers Forum wants to say thank you for having come to do justice this day's event. Okay, as we wait for the gifts to be ready, I've not spoken today in this hall, and I will only commend the YLF Port Harcourt branch led by Dr. Victor Enebeli. One quick observation I will make, just arrange them, is that you have done a good job, and when some persons were asking questions, I raised a little worry, and that is because I was groomed from here. And I said I will make it public, so all of you will learn from it when next Dr. Enebeli will be hammering on it. That is, even in our Young Lawyers Forum seminars, you do not speak unless you are properly dressed. So when next he stops you, you know that that is the grooming we all learned from this body. Thank you. Are we ready? When ready? Okay. My last one. Okay. Okay, so in no particular order, Henry Barnabas Ehi, all the way from Abuja, Buhari branch. You're welcome to Port Harcourt, and this is Young Lawyers Forum Port Harcourt branch saying thank you for being here. Next one. Okay. Yes. We move straight to my Lord Honorable Justice Tomodigo Webani, a full-blown Rivers woman. My Lord, we thank you. The Young Lawyers Forum Port Harcourt branch says thank you very much. It's justice to the plenary session. Thank you, my Lord. Solicitor General of the Federation, Mrs. Beatrice J.D. Agba, ONMNI, ably represented in this event. Please send this. Please convey our regards to the Honorable Solicitor General. Thank you. There was one parting advice we were giving as the session was coming to a close, and that advice is ensure you drive carefully. Is that correct? So to the Sector Commander of Rivers State Road Safety Command, Corps Commander Christopher Kuje, sir, we are going to drive carefully. Thank you for coming. At this point, Eunice. Is it here? Okay. Please, we call on Eunice Atojide to please come forward. Please come forward. At the same time, Tobena Erojikwe, please come forward at the same time. I think you have to come to the stage, please. You did very well, and we learned that even without going to the courtrooms, we can still make our money. Thank you. So the young lawyers are saying thank you for coming.
Thank you.
At this point, I think I will be handing over to S. Long Williams, former governor, Eastern Bar Forum, to continue the award presentation. Please come forward, sir. Please, a round of applause for the governor, former governor of Eastern Bar Forum.
My Lord, may I stand on existing protocols? Gentlemen, my task is to present an award to a great friend of ours, the chairman of the Continuing Legal Education Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association, Institute rather, the former chairman of the Technical Committee on Conference Planning Lagos 2022, and it's no other person than our own Tobina Erojikwe. This award is a recognition of his outstanding contribution, commitment, support, impact in the affairs of young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association. Gentlemen, by the powers conferred on me by the chairman of this session and the Young Lawyers Forum, I hereby this day, the 20th day of October 2023, hand over this award to Tobina Erojikwe Esquire. Thank you. Gentlemen, I must state that this ceremony is one of the best Young Lawyers Forum sessions I've attended since I became a lawyer. And as we are aware, lawyers' occasion we don't normally attend. But today we can see a large number of lawyers present, both seniors, juniors, senior advocates, and my Lord, the judge of the High Court of Rivers State. So gentlemen, may we give a round hand of applause to the Young Lawyers Forum NBA Port Harcourt branch. We have another gentleman in our midst, a hard-working, committed, dedicated practitioner. When he became an ACN, we were not surprised. We saw it coming. You know, there are some lawyers, when you see them, you know, they come an ACN. So when he was conferred with the rank of a Secretary of Nigeria, we were not surprised. We knew that he was going to get it. He's the chairman of a committee where I serve as secretary, and I'm proud to do this honor to him. He's no other than Tonye Krukrubo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Lina Silk, this award is in recognition of your outstanding contribution, commitment, support, and impact in the affairs of the young lawyers Nigerian Bar Association. And by the powers conferred on me by the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum Rivers State, Port Harcourt branch of Rivers State, I hereby this day hand over this award to you, Tonye Kukrubo, SAN. Thank you. Okay. Gentlemen, we have our amiable, pretty former General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association here. She's the last female that served as General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. We all know who I'm talking about. And she's here with us today, seated by the left-hand side of our Lord. And she's no other person than Mrs. Joyce Udua. Madam, I have known Joyce for a very long time. I will call her a sister. And when I was informed that I'll be the one to present an award to her, I was highly glad. In that state of gladness, I hereby this day, the 20th of October, 2023, present this award to you in recognition of your outstanding contribution, commitment, support, and impact in the affairs of young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association. And this award is courtesy Young Lawyers Forum, NBA, Port Harcourt branch. Thank you. We have a former chairman of one of the best, the biggest branches in Nigeria in our midst. If you know Lagos, you know that Lagos is one of the biggest, or the biggest, in fact. In fact, if you attend any conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, you don't attend the Lagos party, then you have not attended any party of the conference. Lagos party is the best. And the former chairman of that branch is here with us. His name is Chukwuka Ikwazom, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Leonard Silk, the Young Lawyers Forum, Leonard Silk, the Young Lawyers Forum of NBA Port Harcourt branch, has decided to recognize you and to honor you. And by the grace of God, I'm the one to do that. It's not by my power, it's not by my might, it's by the Holy Spirit. Chukwuka has been a friend of NBA Port Harcourt branch. He has been a friend of the Young Lawyers Forum NBA Port Harcourt branch. And he's a friend to all the branches in Rivers State. So I'm honored this day to present this award in recognition of your outstanding contribution, commitment, support, and impact in the affairs of the young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association. And this award is courtesy Young Lawyers Forum, NBA Port Harcourt branch. And by the further powers conferred on me by my Lord, I hereby this day, the 20th of October 2023, present this award to you for your outstanding contribution to the Young Lawyers Forum. Thank you very much. award is going to one of our best young lawyers in NBA Port Harcourt branch. When I say NBA Port Harcourt branch, I'm talking from my personal perspective. She's somebody I usually, we always want to sit down and listen to. And I bet you when she talks, you will understand what I'm talking about. You will not be, when I call her, you will not believe the person that I'm referring to right now. When she talks like a giant. But she's not a giant. She's like David facing Goliath. Her name is Rita Anwere Chinda I was opportune to attend a program where she delivered the paper, and I must tell you it was outstanding. And since that day, I've never failed to listen to her whenever she's talking. I bet you one of these days you have that opportunity. On behalf of the Young Lawyers Forum, NBA Port Harcourt branch, I hereby this day present this award to you in recognition of your outstanding contributions, commitment, support, and impact and in the affairs of all lawyers in Nigeria. I've added that one. So this day, I present this award to you, courtesy of Young Lawyers Forum, NBA Port Harcourt branch. Congratulations. Gentlemen, I have another award here. I know him, he's my friend and brother, a member of NBA Port Harcourt branch. His name is Kelechi Wuzi. Gentlemen, this award is going to be received by his beloved wife, who is here with us. Mrs. Kelechi, this award is to your husband, a former chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum NBA Port Harcourt branch, for his outstanding contribution, commitment, support, and impact in the affairs of the young lawyers. And also for the support you have given to him as a wife. So I present this award to you this 20th day of October 2023. Courtesy of the Young Lawyers Forum NBA Port Harcourt branch for his support and commitment to the young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Gentlemen, the last but not the least is the chairman of chairmen, the chairman of all the branches of the Nigerian Bar Association in Rivers State, and that award is to be received by the Assistant Secretary of NBA Port Harcourt branch, Barbara Aboyomi. It's also for the support, recognition, and outstanding contributions and impact made by Sir Victor Ibim Benibo, for the total support, total commitment, total impact in the affairs of the young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association Port Harcourt branch. So Victor, you are Victor now. So my chairman, by the powers conferred on me by our Lord, my Lord, and the chairman of the Young Lawyers Forum, I hereby this day, 20th day of October 2023, present this award to you. Congratulations. Gentlemen, thank you. My Lord.
So now we have a group photograph by the chairman and the panelists before we conclude this session.
Whilst you're preparing for the group photograph, let me quickly recognize the presence of Dr. Mobolaji Ojibara, the former chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ilorin branch. You're welcome, sir.
Distinguished participants and delegates, your
But before then, let me quickly thank everyone on behalf of Nigerian Bar Association Young Lawyers Forum, our resource persons, for their time they've invested in us. It will never go in vain. We appreciate you, and we also appreciate our participants. So,
may we call Barbara Abayomi to give us the closing prayer. Please, closing prayer before we leave.
In Jesus' name.